Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Huddle. Chris Myers, so great to see you on camera on Huddle. Loving this. Well, as we have been doing throughout the month of June, and by the way, June has only had like 3 business days, but I feel like we have already been like throughout the month of June. We have been bringing you top agents from all over the nation. And sometimes, y'all, we have the best of the best right at Dallas Preston Road. And one of those is certainly the Dan Harker. So if you're new to Dallas Preston Road, you may not know Dan. He runs one of our very top groups here at the Market Center, one of the top teams in all of the nation, and one of the best leaders I know and human beings. So Dan, thank you for investing in us this morning. The floor is all yours.
Well, good morning. It is good to see everybody. I kind of feel like I don't know about you guys, but I think one of the best inventions was Zoom, and I'm sure a lot of you probably would disagree, but it is one of my favorite vehicles to be able to do a lot more life a lot faster with people and get to meet with people and see people. So it's great to be on here with you guys, and I love running to y'all in the halls. So much like you guys, every day, I always joke around, and as I've told this before to the team that I work with, I feel like my mindset is like a cold lawnmower engine that you're starting at the beginning of the growing season. I'm sure a lot of you probably mow your yards, and I still actually have a place that I go mow. I was out weed eating yesterday, believe it or not, and it's therapy for me. I'm not a golfer, and anytime I can get out there and do it, I always enjoy doing it. But starting that engine up the first time is like starting your mind up in the morning and putting that right mindset in place for the day that you're taking on. I have a gentleman who is, I got a little short piece for you today. I have a gentleman that I love listening to. His name's Dr. Kevin Elko. And once a week, he puts out a Monday morning. It's called A Cup of Morning Inspiration. It's always on Mondays. If you go pull up Kevin Elko, E-L-K-O, you can subscribe. There's no charge to it. And he's a business coach. He's a psychologist. And he has coached, when I say coached, he's worked with the coaches of some of the best college and NFL football teams and other sports as well. But he's really good. And this is one of the things that he had shared, and this is the one that I took away the other day. It goes, take charge and make the decision. So who's in charge? There's a guy by the name of Christian Harker, who was a governor of Massachusetts back in the 1950s. And one day, he had an extremely busy day. So busy that he didn't have time to eat much during the lunch, didn't have lunch, didn't really have breakfast. And he had to go to a church event to speak at. And he got to the church, and he was in line, and he was coming up to the main course, which was chicken. And the lady puts one piece of chicken on his plate, and he goes, "Man, I am starving. I'm starving. Is there any way you give me 2 pieces of chicken on my plate?" She goes, "No, I'm only allowed to give you 1 piece of chicken." And he goes, "Do you know who I am? I'm the governor of Massachusetts." And she goes, "Well, do you know who I am? I'm the lady in charge of the chicken. 1 chicken, move it along." I'm sure some of y'all have probably experienced that, where you've been on one side of the line or you've been on the other side. In charge. Every day we wake up, we're in charge of something. We're in charge of our mind. We're in charge of our attitude. We're in charge of our appearance. We're in charge of our fitness. We're in charge of our diet. We're in charge of our finances. We're in charge of whether we have debt or we don't have debt. We're in charge of forgiveness. Are we going to give it? We're in charge of everything. You own it. There's a great book. If you have not read it, it's called, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did this. Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. If you haven't read it, I'm going to encourage you to get it. It's a great, go pick it up on Audible, go listen to it. You got to listen to it because the guy's got one of the best voices in the world. But he talked about taking an extreme ownership. As I've gotten older, this has become more real to me, whether it's with work or whether it's with fitness, whatever it might be, is taking ownership and taking charge. You can't turn it over to anybody. All these things, your happiness, your diet, your fitness, that's what we're in charge of. Once you own it and once you take ownership, life gets a whole lot easier. Start saying to yourself, I'm the chicken lady. I'm in charge. What is it you're going to be in charge of? You're in charge of you. The last thing I just want to mention, so what is the decision you're going to make today? What I love about the word decide is that's a positive affirmative action. I'm deciding I'm going to go do this. So at the end of today, if you state today, I've decided I'm going to have this done by today, and you take ownership of it, and at the end of the day, you look back and say, I did it. I don't know about y'all. I have a checklist that I make every day or in the evenings of what I need to do the next day. I take a lot of pride, and I know Gary has something to say about this, Gary Keller, but I take great pride in putting a check mark. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have that long list, I love putting that check mark and saying, I decided to do this and it got done. Every once in a while, at the end of the day, I'll have some that I didn't get to check off. So it goes on in the next day. But if you made the decision that you were going to have everything done by 11 o'clock, one of my, have you ever gone on a vacation before and you were surprised with a vacation to Hawaii, or think about your favorite place to go, when someone came in and said, hey, I have this extra ticket. The funny thing is we got to leave tomorrow. It's all paid for. Hotels paid for. Can you make it? And, you think about everything you got to get done during the week and like, oh, how can I do it? But I'm going to get it done. And by golly, if it's free, I'm going to get it done. It's amazing how many things we get done by deciding and taking ownership and taking action immediately. There's a bold law. All work expands for time allowed, if you remember that. And we've got to remind ourselves of this. So my question to you today is, what do you decide you're going to have done by the end of the day? What are you going to take ownership of? And, you may not be able to take ownership of everything, get everything done today as far as your health, your fitness, but what is it you want to do between now and the end of this week, the end of this month? So I wish you the best. I look forward to doing this journey with you guys today and over the coming days. So thanks, Teresa.
Dan, that was great. Thank you so much. And thank you. I have not heard of Dr. Kevin Elko, so I'm going to go check him out. Dallas Preston Road, what decision will you make today? What will you take ownership of?